Welcome to Heal the World show, brought to you by the Healing Institute. I'm Pramelia Parham. I'm the CEO and the founder of the Healing Institute. And the Healing Institute is a virtual global hub of holistic practitioners. So we are all out to heal the world. We're trying to be proactive. We're trying to give people hope. And we are every week I interview a holistic practitioner about the ways to be well and stay well. So I've used holistic healing for over 20 years myself, and it works. And that's part of our mission and part of what we want to let people know out in the world that it does work. So the better you feel, healthy from a health wise, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual, then the better you will be in the world. So I wanted to also let you know that it's January. So Happy New Year, everybody! And we have a theme this month. It's called "It's a New Year, It's a New You." And so each week we are having something slightly different. First week, which is this week, is around physical health. Next week is around mental. The week after is emotional health. And then the final week of January is spiritual health. So tune in. Make sure you come back each week and meet our guests that we have here on the Heal the World show. I wanted to just let people know also, if you haven't tuned in before, what is my why? What is the reason that this is so important to me? And I always like to tell my story around the tragedy that we had in our family, in that my mom passed away at age 61. And that was due to complications that she had been on a medication for a very long time. And the complications compromised her kidneys, which was very, very sad. So she passed away at Christmas time. It was the 15th of December. I was 5 months pregnant with my son. So not only was it a tragedy that she died so young, but my children never got to meet their grandmother. And I don't want that to happen for any other families. I really want us to be able to educate people about how they can be well on their health journey. So I'm so excited today to introduce Michelle Falzone from Calgary, Alberta. And we are going to talk about how to be physically healthy. So welcome, Michelle. Wonderful to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so gracious to be a part of your world this morning, Pramelia. And I want to thank you for sharing that story about your mom. I know with my grandparents, part of the work I do is because of what I've had what's the word I'm looking for? Just bearing witness to what they've been through with their health has influenced the work I do today. And it sounds like it's done that for you too. So way to use your hardship as a force for good.
And we have to use our experiences, I believe, to explain to people where we are and why we're doing what we're doing. So I think people are interested to know. So we have a couple of people that have popped on. Cindy DeJogger with Opal Rising Magazine. She's definitely somebody I'm going to introduce you to, Michelle. She is a very great supporter of the Healing Institute and of this podcast. And we're actually going to be doing some interwork together with the Opal Rising magazine. It's an online magazine. So she's here in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island, which is interesting because we haven't yet met in person, but she lives about 20-minute drive from where I live. So thank you for popping on here today, Cindy. I know she's just back from holidays. Marie Piplovic is here from Portland, Oregon. She's one of our practitioners. Ingrid's here saying good morning to everyone and Happy New Year. So good to see Ingrid. Ingrid's our admin assistant, and honestly, we could not function without her. Oh, Mitch Abrams popped on. Good morning. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mitch, for popping on and saying good morning. And he says, thank you for sharing essential perspectives. Yes, we like to do that. Radavi Rio. Oh, Radavi, thank you for being here today. Radavi has been part of our platform, and she's got a book that's coming out shortly. So wonderful for her to be here. So let's hop into this interview. Well, it's not really an interview, but this conversation that we want to have. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do. First of all, you are an online women's, although I'm sure some of what you're talking about can be applied to men, but an online women's movement. I think that's how you called yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about how that came about.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I want to say good morning to everyone who has joined us. Thank you for sharing your time today. I'm coming from sunny Calgary, as you can see. I'm going to be Casper for 25 minutes. And yeah, let's dive in. When it comes to the work that I do, I am a health and movement coach for women. So what that means is I teach women how to lift weights, move their bodies, build a lifestyle around us building a sustainable movement practice, as well as the health coaching component is we all know what to do. I think where we struggle is with the how. And this is what I love about health coaching, because it's all about behavior change theory and what it actually takes to build a habit that sticks for a very long time. So it's helping women feel empowered with movement and also feel a leader in other wellness practices in their life.
Beautiful. I love that. And I agree with you 100%. You know, we do know what to do. We've got lots of information out there that's telling us. It's just putting that into practice and putting that into action. And I know in my own life, when I haven't put my movement into action, you know, things like my blood pressure will go up or my cholesterol will go up. And so I don't want to be on any kind of medication. So I'll make sure that I get back out there on my walks and do that movement that I need to do so that I can stay healthy. So yeah, let's talk about if you have some examples of clients that you work with and how they came to you and how you worked with them and then the results that they received.
Yeah, for sure. So I think what most people appreciate most about my coaching philosophy is that it's very holistic and collaborative, right? Yes, I'm a health and movement professional. I don't have all the answers because I'm not supposed to. And I believe in integrated care. So leveraging the expertise and wisdom from different practitioners to look at someone's lifestyle and provide that holistic approach. So that is how collaboration and the holistic approach ties in. A lot of what I coach, yes, it's movement based. It's all about how do we optimize movement? Are you getting enough sleep? What's your nutrition like? I have a dietitian, psychotherapist on my team. What are your stress levels? What are your mindfulness practices like? What's your social support like? So there's so much that goes into helping a client. And I think that's what clients appreciate most about my approach. And it's also I believe in empowerment and agency. So a lot of the clients I work with in our coaching sessions, coaching is all about the client has the answers. How do we skillfully draw those answers out of them? To a point, when I'm coaching clients through movement, I'm asking them, how did that movement feel? What do you feel like doing in terms of progression? Do you want to switch it up? Do you want to increase the weight, reps? I'm all about the client feeling like they have input and agency in the process, because we know from a lifestyle, sustainable perspective, that's going to be longer lasting. And my practice model is I want people to see me less and spend less money with me the longer that they're with me, right? So just so that they can continue to impact their lives and be a leader in that journey themselves. So that's kind of what it looks like to what it is to work with me, and some of the results clients have get. My favorite one, especially I work with a lot of women who experience chronic pain, is obviously living and moving with ease. Like that is such a gift to be able to do that, because I think when a lot of women and men experience chronic pain, it feels like there's absolutely no way out. And I love just being able to not only instill hope, but help people experience that pain-free lifestyle. So that's definitely one aspect. Confidence is number one, right? When we lift weights, when we move our body, we're able to just tell our brains that we can do hard things and we'll be okay. Also, when you're lifting weights, you're learning a skill, right? We're not brought into this world and we know how to do all these movements and whatnot. So I really appreciate the mastery that's involved in developing a movement practice. And when people progress in a movement practice, there's a sense of accomplishment. So that confidence not only shines in their physical health, in their relational health, with their partnerships, with maybe confidence in the workplace, right? Just confidence in themselves to speak up. So there's just such a ripple effect from physical, mental, emotional to even spiritual levels. I can go on and on, but I'm sure you see that in the work you
I
do.
love what you've said so far because it really encompasses the empowerment of people, which I agree with you. That is so important. If you're not empowering your clients to be moving, and if they're not excited about moving and feeling good about moving, then they're not going to do it, right? So you have to, yeah. So I love the fact that you actually include that, and also that you look at everything that's going on with your clients, because
Mhm.
that's so what is happening in their social life, what is happening in their spiritual life, what is happening in their private life. Like those things are all a very good influence on how physically, we don't think about that often, we don't think about how it impacts us physically, but it is very, very, very true that
Yeah. Parmelia, I'd love to expand on that point of feeling excited about movement. Because on my walk this morning, I asked myself this question: can everyone fall in love with movement? It's just a question that popped up. And I truly believe we can, because if we look at movement from a physiological perspective, what changes in our body. And before we went live, you talked about your movement practice, and you're like, Michelle, I always feel better after movement. And we're always going to do things that make us feel good, right? Movement releases the same chemicals as when we eat, when we get a massage, when we engage in intercourse. Those feel good hormones,
Mhm.
dopamine, endorphins, serotonin. That's a part of the feel good experience when it comes to movement. I think what often happens, though, when people want to engage in a movement practice, it might be this go big or go home kind of mindset of I have to walk every single day. I need to go to the gym 3 times a week. And if the thought of that is scary and feels like a chore, of course it's not going to be exciting. So obviously, number one, find movement that you enjoy. Yes, I will preach strength training till the cows come home because I just believe in the effects, especially moving into older adulthood for women. However, start with something that brings you joy. And if you can slowly introduce strength training at some point in your life, and then it's always when people experience it, there's just no turning back. So I believe in joyful movement that excites you, and then building up a gradual progression.
Oh, I just love that because that's so important. And I'm glad you used the terminology falling in love because
Right?
it's so powerful when you do fall in love with something, regardless what it might be, a movement, a person, um, a career, whatever it might be. Then you start to have those endorphins that get released, which make us feel much better about ourselves and much happier, which is really that's where we want to be. We want to be in joy. So yes, that's so important to do that and I'm glad you also mentioned about finding what the movement that works for you because
Mhm.
it's not one size fits all. And also the fact that you mentioned about not putting parameters on ourselves and saying,
Yes.
you must go to the gym 3 times a week or you must be out walking every day. That just kind of, I think, sets us up for failure, and we don't want to be set up for failure. We want to be set up for success. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. But before I onboard any clients, I go through my core values, and one of them is fun. Like if we're not having fun in this process, we're doing it wrong.
well,
Life
and you
is
know that your client's not going to stick with you if she's
absolutely
not having
right.
fun. That's right. Yeah.
So I believe I think one thing we lose in adulthood is our sense of playfulness. And
Mhm.
I think that could be built into our lifestyle if we're strategically thinking about it and being intentional about it too, of like, how are we going to make movement fun? How are we going to make meal prepping fun? Um, and maybe this task I need to do in the house, how can we make it fun? So I believe in incorporating joy, exploration, and a word I use a lot in my coaching practice is let's explore, let's experiment with this. So
Yes.
that just kind of relieves the pressure of like, oh my God, Michelle's policing my behavior because I'm not a helicopter coach. That is not my style. It's more of like, let's just surrender. We can plan as much as we can, you know, when it comes to executing on our intentions for the week. How do we bring self-compassion and exploration so that we make this the most enjoyable experience for you?
And I really like the that word experience, and because you might try something that doesn't fit for you, but
Mhm.
at least you've tried it, right? So
Exactly.
then you know what does. Sometimes you need to know what you don't want to know what you do want. So I just
Absolutely.
want to pop into the chat again and acknowledge people that have joined us today. Olivia Joy Abbott, great topic to kick off the new year. Welcome, Olivia. We're happy to have you here. And now Dr. Madlena is all the way from Germany. She's one of our true supporters and on our advisory board. She says, hello, Pamelia and Michelle. She agrees helping women to feel empowered is beautiful and also agrees with the holistic and collaboration. What else has she's got here? She's this is a brilliant woman. Mastery involved in developing confidence. That is
It's a
very good.
skill.
Skill, yes. Um, Marie is saying my feeling is movement is growth, which yes, most definitely. And oh, so here's a good question. Dr. Madlena wants to know, can everyone fall in love with movement and releasing, which of course then releases those endorphins? What do you think, Michelle?
um, I believe yes. I believe as humans, we're not meant to just lie there and wither. I believe we're meant to move, expand, explore. Um, I think movement, from my personal experience, has just helped me discover more about who I am and what I want in life, what I enjoy. So I think there's just it's all how you approach things when it comes to falling in love with movement. And I think we kind of alluded to it is, doing movement you enjoy. If for me, like I used to love running. I don't love it as much as I did, so I'm not going to pursue that form of cardio. I'm looking to get into biking in the summer. So I think it's just letting go of what people might say you should be doing and just
Mhm.
trusting your intuition of what your body needs. So yes, Dr. Madlena, I believe we can fall in love with movement. Would love to hear your thoughts as well.
And Marie, who's part of our platform, who's a conscious breathing facilitator. So I think you two might want to have a chat. She says movement can support a more open and expansive breath, which is
Mhm.
very true. And then that expands our life force, which is all good. Yes.
Absolutely. And Marie, like even when it comes to weightlifting, creating pressure in our thorax is so important when we're lifting specific during lifts and whatnot. So breathing is a module that I have in my program, because I would say probably, over 95% of us aren't breathing as optimally as we could. So I think exercise is such an effective tool to teach breathing techniques, and really engage that life force that you're talking about, that chi. So thank you for the work you're doing, Marie. I love that you added that.
So do you have another testimony from one of your clients that you can tell our audience about? We really like to know what the results are. And we will be, putting in the chat also how to connect with you. And just so everybody else knows, if you haven't been on the program before, we go through the chat after and we comment, and we'll send you more information and answer any of your questions.
Oh, that's a tough question for me. I mean, I'm proud of so many of my clients of what they've been able to accomplish. So it's really hard to just say one testimonial, this was the one. I think if I can, and people can go on Google and search Pivot Your Wellness and look at the reviews. I do work with a couple men, and before the break, this one gentleman, I've been working with him for 8 months now. He's taking a break. He feels like he has all the tools, which is like a coach's dream to say, I don't need you, Michelle. He was suffering from debilitating back pain to a point where the thought of sitting in a bar stool would make him cringe, or going to the grocery store and staying in line to pay for groceries was just too much for his body. And we've got him to a point where he's completely pain-free, because he was also considering getting back surgery. And the fact that we were able to facilitate his healing rather through, yes, movement. He's also working with a psychotherapist on my team and the dietitian. We really did a lot of reframing about his relationship to pain. Like, he's completely pain-free. He doesn't cringe at the thought of picking something off the floor. And he said in our last session, he's like, I can't even articulate what it's like to be in pain, because it feels so far removed from his life right now. So he's able to play more with his dog, his kids, and just get more out of life, go fly fishing, skiing. And it's just, he's just living more freely. And I think it's stories like this, when we hear these, to really instill in us hope that healing is possible.
Yes, absolutely. And that is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing it. For people to have to realize that they don't have to have surgery, I mean, we've just been part of the mainstream medical model for way too long, where, we've come to the conclusion, obviously, those of us that are in the holistic realm, that it doesn't work. It's not working. So medication, side effects of medication are very, very, you have to be very, very important and very cautious about what you're putting in your body, whether it's from, a diet point of view or whether medication. And also this surgery. Like, how many people do you know who have had knee replacements, hip replacements? And the go-to for our mainstream medical is, well, if I can't fix it with the medication, then we'll fix it with surgery. And that oftentimes is not the case. So rather than to have to put your body through that trauma of surgery, to be able to work with a coach like you and then have that client completely be pain-free, that's a miracle.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I would like to share, like, I've had 2 knee surgeries in my life, and it was from a soccer accident. And I think about, what my life would have been like if I didn't get those surgeries, and it actually brought a lot of stability to my knee. And for those of you who are listening, who are your doctor saying, yeah, you know what, you're due for a knee replacement, hip replacement, I want you to know that, like, sometimes surgery can be so helpful. What I'm all about is pre-op, because I did this for my operation as well. Like, are we getting you as strong as possible? Because you lose a lot of muscle post-op if you don't have a strong foundation. And then also, how are we improving your strength, mobility, and functionality even after those surgeries? Because sometimes that can actually add a lot of quality to your life to be able to get surgery. I'm all about, how do we prepare you as best for that if this is a decision that you feel is aligned for you? And if you're unsure, I'm always about crowdsourcing many opinions, right? If you keep going to different surgeons and they keep saying surgery is the best option, well, maybe let's seek a non-surgical perspective when it comes to movement.
And then you've got options that you can raise.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for mentioning that as well, because I think that's very important for getting ready for the surgery,
Mhm.
if you feel that that's the route you have to go.
Yeah.
So many times people don't get ready. They're not ready for the surgery. And then afterwards, you want to build up that muscle mass again
Mhm.
because, as you mentioned, there's just so muscles get deteriorated through the surgery. So that's those are really excellent points.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be showing you how we're going to run this, how to connect with Michelle. We're just about getting to the bottom of the hour here, our half hour. So here's her Calendly link. We'll also go into the chat afterwards and send this to you. And she has offering for those of you who've popped on today a complimentary coaching session. So take advantage of that as well, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about,
Well, thank you.
oh, I just want to say in that 60 minutes, the goal is to help you move your wellness, at least the needle 1% in that 60 minutes. So I would be happy to have a conversation with you and see how we can get you feeling better in a way that you're really craving, because I believe you deserve to live and move with ease and freedom, and being pain-free is so important to me. Especially, like, I live a pain-free life and I've had so many injuries, and I just want people to know that it is so possible, and to give yourself the opportunity to experience your potential is.
Yes, thank you for that. That's what we want to give people. We want to give people hope
Mhm.
that it is possible for you to be pain free, for you to live in joy, for you to live in love, for you to not have any, have less stress, let's say, or be able to cope with any kind of stress or anxiety that you have, or physical movements, because since that's our topic today is physical movements. So I just want to tell everybody that, really we have a big job here and we need you. We need you to help us tell the world that we are out to heal the world and that we have these absolutely amazing practitioners on the website that are available to you. So pop on the website, have a look. Definitely get in touch with Michelle and have a coaching call with her. So, yes, we want to give people hope. My vision is to create a community of expert health practitioners, and our practitioners do customize their unique treatments for you, the client. And you got to meet another fabulous holistic practitioner today, Michelle Falzone. I hope I said it
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And thank you so much for being on the call today, Michelle. It was delightful to get to meet you and to know you. And thanks again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Permelia, for giving me the space and the platform to connect with your awesome community. And for everyone listening, exactly what Permelia said. You don't understand how much influence you have, even sending this video to someone, or sharing the work Permelia and I are doing. You have the potential to completely change someone's life. So I hope you take that to heart, and I would love to be in your world too. So let's connect and heal the world together.
Let's do it. All right. We'll see you next week on Heal the World Show.